The AFC as a whole, the AFC North has seen a huge shakeup, Lamar Jackson's looming contract, and of course the upcoming NFL draft. All these things going on in Baltimore. Hit the intro.
Perfect.
After a rough ending to the 2021 NFL regular season that saw the Baltimore Ravens losing 6 of their final regular season games after a Lamar Jackson injury. No matter what they did with quarterbacks Josh Johnson as well as Tyler Huntley, nothing really seemed to work as the Baltimore Ravens missed the playoffs for the first time since 2017. So there has to be some level of hope and optimism that as long as people stay healthy for this upcoming season, this Baltimore Ravens team can absolutely get back to regularly scheduled programming and become a playoff team within this stacked up AFC. Well, first things first, let's take a look at the Baltimore Ravens and the activity within the NFL as a whole during NFL free agency. The AFC saw a surplus of quarterback movement and saw a number of teams within the conference get better. Even within the AFC North, that saw the Pittsburgh Steelers picking up Mitchell Trubisky and the Cleveland Browns making an absolutely blockbuster move to get quarterback Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans, sending a bevy of NFL draft picks. They're basically their NFL future, as well as almost $250 million in guaranteed money towards Deshaun Watson. So that's going to have some implications for Lamar Jackson's looming contract decision. What are the Baltimore Ravens kind of going to throw numbers at him? Lamar doesn't really seem to be in any rush to get the contract figured out. I think he still has a lot to prove, and I think he's looking at this market thinking, well, the more they keep paying guys, the better the numbers are going to look for me down the road. So staying a little bit patient here as far as Lamar Jackson's contract is considered. But the rest of the AFC, we saw quarterback movement by the Denver Broncos to bring in Russell Wilson. The Indianapolis Colts with a huge trade with the Falcons bringing in quarterback Matt Rines. And the rest of the conference, like I said, seeing even more shakeups. So with all this quarterback movement and a Baltimore Ravens team that last year finished outside of the playoff window, they had to have made some kind of moves to bring back or even acquire some talent to help bring this roster up to speed with an even faster, more dynamic AFC as a whole. And they certainly tried their best, signing safety formerly of the New Orleans Saints, Marcus Williams, a younger safety to a 5-year, $50+ million deal. Marcus Williams is still synonymously known with missing that tackle on the Stephon Diggs play with the Minnesota Vikings years ago, but he has continued to develop into a very solid NFL caliber safety. And for a defense that was last in the entire NFL in pass protection, allowing 278 passing yards per game to their opponents, the Baltimore Ravens can only get better within that secondary. And I think Marcus Williams is going to be a nice addition to a team that, again, just couldn't stop teams from passing the ball last year. Around the rest of the defense, however, their ability to stop the run was top tier in the NFL, allowing only 84 yards per game on the ground, and they got even better with the addition of Michael Pierce, a former Baltimore Raven who made a pit stop with the Minnesota Vikings, brought back on a 2-year deal if I'm not mistaken. Michael Pierce was a very strong run stuffer with the Baltimore Ravens, and I imagine they tried to do that with his time in Minnesota. Things didn't just quite work out. But Michael Pierce is a big body in the center that can take up offensive linemen. You absolutely have to put 2 offensive linemen on this guy, or he's going to be getting into your backfield, stopping your running backs. And they also re-signed veteran defensive lineman Calais Campbell, the 6'8" monster, at 36 years old on a 1-year deal. I think they looked around the market and just decided, hey, let's just bring back some of these veteran talent guys that we've already had within our system that can still stop the run and keep our defense playing at a tempo that we like as we try to improve the back end of the defense as well. So not a bunch of big moves for the Baltimore Ravens, a number of guys from this past season that are still on the market. I think they're looking towards the NFL draft to see if they can get younger at some key positions. And speaking of the NFL draft, the Baltimore Ravens do have a few moves that they need to make this team a little bit better, a little bit younger, a little bit faster surrounding their very young offense. On the offensive side of the football, I think they could still use some wide receiver depth. Wide receiver Sammy Watkins is still on the market. They did draft Rashad Bateman in the first round last year, and during some injury battles, we really didn't get to see him at his peak. We didn't really get to see Bateman a lot on the field doing what he does best. Running back situation was really tumultuous last year. Lamar Jackson has to carry a lot more of the load after J.K. Dobbins went down. Gus Edwards was a nice, backup, but they haven't really seen that tick up in their running game. So I think the Baltimore Ravens have to be looking at running backs as well in this draft. Just getting a little bit more depth in that backfield could not hurt. And then on the defensive side of the football, of course, just the secondary in general, trying to find some more depth, trying to find some more improvements. They do have some good names there already in Marlon Humphrey, and I also like Clark as well. However, they just need to get a little bit younger, a little bit faster, and even within that front seven along the defensive interior, I think they're probably going to look to get a little bit younger within the interior, even with guys like Michael Pierce as well as Calais Campbell run stuffing and slowing things down within the middle. And in this year's NFL draft, the Baltimore Ravens are in a pretty good spot as they have 10 total draft picks to play around with, to maneuver up, to maneuver back. And at pick 14, Devontae Wyatt as well as Jordan Davis, both of the interior defensive linemen, feel like they would be a great pickup for this Baltimore Ravens team that is trying to create opportunities within the pass rush game. Both of these guys are going to be very strong in the running game, but the more the merrier when it comes to the defensive linemen for the Baltimore Ravens. If they're able to get into the backfield no matter what, adding either one of these guys, I feel like would be a strong push towards the youth side of the defense. You have a guy in Calais Campbell as well as Michael Pierce that can mentor these younger talents and make them even better down the road. I feel like this would be very good natural fits for a very aggressive defensive scheme with the Baltimore Ravens. Like I said, Wyatt or Davis might be my picks here at 14 if I'm the Baltimore Ravens. So let's make a little bit of a prediction. Let's look ahead to their upcoming opponents list. The actual official NFL schedule has not been released yet. However, we do know who the Baltimore Ravens are going to be playing this upcoming season. So let's just take a look and do whatever we can to predict their upcoming season. Of course, in the AFC North, they're going to be playing teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns, and Cincinnati Bengals. But they're also going to be seeing the Atlanta Falcons, Buffalo Bills, Carolina Panthers, Miami Dolphins, and the Denver Broncos at home. Within that list of teams, I think they have a great opportunity to win 5 games. Of course, is the implication that the team stays healthy during the entire regular season. But among those home games, I really like their chances. I think 5 wins is very likely. And on the away side of things, of course, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati, but they're also going to be playing in New England, New Orleans, against the Jets, Tampa Bay, Jacksonville, and the New York Giants. And among that list, I think it's very possible that they get 5 to 6 wins on the road. Again, this implies that the team is going to stay healthy, and I think they still have their work cut out for them in a few of these games, but the Baltimore Ravens are going to benefit from missing the playoffs last year as they get healthier this season, they get younger this season, they get faster this season in a very tough AFC. I do think the Baltimore Ravens as a whole are a playoff level team this upcoming season. I think it's playoffs or bust, at least for John Harbaugh and company, one of the better head coaches in the entire NFL. You've got a great quarterback in Lamar Jackson and a team that year over year has remained consistent and has been able to improve and get even better. Last year, injuries and a messed up secondary just didn't really quite work out for this Baltimore Ravens team. But I think this year, the playoffs are an absolute they feel like the benchmark for this team. This is a team that can, at full strength, if things go their way, could very well be competing for the Super Bowl. I'm not going to call them my Super Bowl pick out of the AFC, but I think they're certainly within the mix. So thank you so much for watching the video. Of course, feel free to stick around and watch some more content. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and of course, get the bell on to know every single time I'm dropping a video. My name is Tristan Blake Rines, and I'm going to catch you in the next one. Adios.